my angels, and welcome back to my channel. And today it's another episode of Beauty and Positivity-Tea. I thought I'd actually have some tea this time and do a little bit of skincare with you guys. And today I'm going to be talking all about the beauty industry and my thoughts on beauty on social media. And side story, this is the second time I'm filming this because the first time I filmed it, I'm basically using a new camera and a new mic. And yeah, the sound was really bad. This time around there are no problems with that. So yeah, I'm basically just going to be sitting and doing my skincare and answering some of you guys' questions. I asked over on my Instagram last week if you guys had any questions about the beauty industry on social media as a whole, and basically I'm going to be doing a bit of a Q&A. But one thing I just wanted to start off with is when I started doing Instagram and YouTube and all of that, it was a very new space. No one was really doing this to make money or anything like that. It was just a place where everyone was just making content because they really, really love makeup. I feel like a lot of that has changed over the last few years, and it's all about basically just really crazy trends and also really crazy challenges as well. And that's where I kind of felt really disconnected with YouTube. And a couple of years ago I did go really weird and quiet on here, and because I was going through an internal struggle myself, because I love makeup so much and I didn't want it to be about how much highlighter you can put on your face or 100 layers of lipstick and things like that. It just really wasn't for me. I didn't really like watching those videos, and there was also going to be no way that I was going to make any of those videos. But when it comes to social media and just beauty as a whole, I feel like there's definitely been this whole trend of Instagram makeup or YouTube makeup, which looks great on camera, looks amazing in photos, but in real life it can look very, very heavy. I know when I started YouTube, I never used to wear full coverage, and then slowly I started wearing thicker and fuller coverage because I felt like I needed to do that to be on YouTube and Instagram. And over the last couple of years, I've kind of realized the makeup that I wear on holiday, which is really fuss free, easy, is still letting my skin breathe. That's the kind of makeup that I like. But one thing that I have genuinely done, and I did this because it was eating up at me and I couldn't really carry on doing it anymore, is I've actually stopped using filters on my Instagram. One thing I do want to mention to you guys, that when you see makeup on Instagram or YouTube, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't look like that in real life. A lot of times images have been edited or brightened or intensified to make them look super, super perfect, and I feel like that gives such a false representation of beauty. And I always see myself, whenever I put content out, is that something that I want my nieces to relate to or nephews to relate to? Yeah, so I try to really keep that as the forefront for anything that I do on social media, and I try not to follow trends. I try not to follow too many things that are hyped up, unless it is my series, which is Hack or Hyped, which is basically me trying out different techniques that seem to be going viral and giving you guys my honest thoughts on that. But yeah, I try not to get sucked into that side of the beauty industry. I would say I have a handful of friends in the industry. I don't really have any best friends on here. My best friend is a pharmacist, and I've known her for over half my life. So yeah, my best friends and my friends that I can rely on are all not on the internet. But there are some lovely people in this industry who are honestly the sweetest, and I know I can go for them for any help and advice. And one thing that I do want to mention is there was something that was eating up away at me over pretty much the whole of last year. And every time I would open up my Instagram app to go onto my stories and upload any stories, if I was doing any talking ones where my face was showing and I didn't have a filter on it, I started to feel really, really down about myself. I used to get really I need to put a filter on my face really quickly because I didn't want to see myself like that. And then I had to really take a step back and realize, actually, this is me, and I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of where I've come to. So earlier this year in January, I decided to basically not use any more filters on my Instagram stories. I already don't touch up any of my photos on Instagram or even on my blog, so they're all as like natural as possible. I may slightly like tweak the like brightness of it if it's like a picture that ended up being too like dark in terms of like lighting, but I never touch like my skin or anything like that. I like to keep it as like natural and real as possible, because I was getting to this point where I felt so horrible about myself, and I thought, this is not the kind of world that I want to live in. This is not the kind of feelings that I want to have in my heart and my mind. And that's where I decided, like, I can be that change for myself. And even if that helps one person out to make themselves kind of feel a bit more comfortable, like online or in real life, then that would just make me so happy. Yeah, I felt like if I could help one person feel better about themselves, it would make me feel really happy that I've made that one little difference in someone's life. I'm actually using the Midge masks, the Midge under eye mask. This is, I think, is a Maya Jama brand. I've never used these before, but I thought I'd whack them out and do some skincare. And I know you've probably heard this so many times, but honestly, when you see things on social media, whether that's beauty related or not, it is honestly just like a tiny snippet of someone's day. You really don't know what that person's going through. And I know there's this whole like thing of like being kind on the internet and this be kind movement, but it definitely needs to be a movement and not a moment, because it needs to be something that we consciously think about every day and every time we consume social media. I suppose my journey on social media has been a crazy one, because I've had so many ups and downs, and I'm so glad that I can get to sit here and just talk to you guys about like topics that make me feel really good or make me feel better about myself, or better in my mental space. So yeah, I really hope you guys like this series. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit of a intro into my thoughts on the beauty industry. And things that I've decided to change myself. Then there's no shade, no tea on anything or anyone else doing something that I don't believe in or don't align with. I let people carry on doing what they do. I don't feel like I should be that person pointing fingers and telling everyone that they need to change. Everyone is on their own journey, and everyone has a different style of content, and that's totally fine. That's the amazing thing about the beauty industry. You can find someone who is all about like natural, no makeup like all the time, or you can find someone who is like full glam all day every day, and there's someone out there to suit every single person. So yeah, now that I've got like that little spiel out the way, I thought I'd get into answering some of your guys' questions that you sent to me over on Instagram. So the first question is it a competitive industry? Now, I think competitive it can be if you're in that mind frame, but for me, I've just stopped looking at numbers. I've just stopped looking at all of that. So if you find yourself comparing yourself to others, then yeah, I think it can be really, really competitive, and I feel like it can be really toxic. It can feel like a place where it's bringing you down rather than lifting yourself up. So it depends on how you look at it, but I suppose it can be either or. But for me personally, it's not a competitive industry. I feel like there's enough love, enough space, and enough platforms for everyone to thrive and do well. What are your thoughts on brand trips moving forward in 2021 and beyond? I genuinely think that brands are going to be a little bit more mindful when it comes to trips. Of course, everyone wants to get back to normal. Everyone wants to get back to like celebrating launches for makeup brands and things like that. But I do think that that day and age and era of going on all those brand trips is going to be a little bit less than before. And another thing I want to put out there is that a lot of the times the product's going to speak for itself. You don't need to do a big fancy trip. And I know this has been going on for years. Before it was like journalists that were being taken away and schmoozed and like told all about the product. But I feel like it can be done in a way now which is so much more mindful of the environment, mindful of people's time. So yeah, I think it is going to change. I hope it changes, and I hope that brand trips only happen every now and again. I don't think that they need to happen for every single launch. Personally, I would love to see brand trips move towards the more educational side of things when it comes to what the brand does or where they get like a certain product from, and for you to be able to experience that. I believe those trips are so much more valuable than brands who will like hire out villas and islands and things to celebrate like an eye cream or something like that. Like I feel like to have that connection of picking the right people who fit a brand and then taking them on to a trip where they really get to learn something and take something away, and then to be able to educate and tell their audience about it, I think that has so much more value than just going for like a brand trip just because they want to throw a party, if you know what I mean. What actually goes on behind the scenes, social media can create a bit of an illusion. Yeah, it's so true. Like 9 times out of 10 I look like this, minus the masks, at my desk. It involves lots of meetings, it involves lots of Zoom meetings now, phone call meetings, and I try to create a lot of my content within 2 days of like filming days. So that's where I will either do like a makeup video, film that, and then do a little reel as well, and try and do a photo. So I'm trying to get like loads of pieces of content done in one day, rather than trying to do a little bit of everything throughout the week. We always have this saying that we say in the office, which is we want to work smarter, not harder. Like we want to be able to make the most of our time of working and trying to get the most out of it. But yeah, literally I look like this for 90% of my week. It is definitely an illusion. It's not as glamorous as it seems. A lot of it is meetings, editing, brainstorming what kind of ideas of content that you want to put out there. So a lot of it is that, and it is also quite consuming in terms of like it can consume your energy, and it can kind of sometimes feel like it's sucking the energy out of you, especially if you're having a bad time on social media. So yeah, it can definitely be an illusion, and it's not, I'm telling you, it's not all glamorous. What kind of impact did social media have on your life? It had honestly the best impact ever. To be able to sit here and say that my job is something that I love. I love talking, I love makeup, I love just being able to talk to you guys about like things that I genuinely love. Being able to marry those two and being able to have a career out of that is something just beyond what I could ever be grateful for, because there's no way that like 7-year-old me, or like me as a like my younger self, would have been able to dream of having a job like this. So yeah, it's definitely changed my life for the better. However, it was a really tough time as well. Over the last few years, you've probably noticed, like on my channel and on my Instagram, I was really quiet at times. I never really used to post that much, and that's because I was struggling internally with anxiety. I just didn't want to be on the internet. There were times where I literally had my finger on the button to like delete all my social media. I just didn't want to do it anymore, and that really made me realize the things that I need to work on, the things that trigger me, the things that I need to keep distance from, the things that I need to work on to be able to grow as a person, and also be able to slowly shift my content into things like this, where I get to sit down and talk to you guys about things that mean a lot to me. So yeah, it's definitely been an incredible journey, but of course there's been ups and downs. But I'm so utterly grateful for the downs, because it's brought me to where I am right now, and it's given me the mindset that I have right now. And by no means am I saying that I'm perfect, I'm in the perfect place in my life that I've always ever wanted to be. It's always like an ongoing journey. So yeah, it's got its pros and cons, but the pros always outweigh the cons. How do you manage your time to keep active on social media and have a personal life? So I definitely have boundaries. I feel like boundaries are so important when it comes to social media. You don't need to post every single thing that you're doing, like as soon as you wake up, like good morning everyone. You don't need to do that. I feel like having that space of like you time and then work time is so important. And I never really used to see it as work. I always, and it's, to be fair, I still always just see it as a hobby, but I just have boundaries in place where if I do want to take any pictures of my morning, let's say I've just gone on a really beautiful walk and I want to post that, I did it this morning actually, I will wait until I'm at my desk. I'll take the piece of video or photo or whatever, and it's in my camera roll, and I'll wait to post that. Like, it doesn't need to be done there and then. Like, and there's that saying, isn't it? Like, loads of people get to this point in their lives, or like on social media, where if you don't post about it on social media, it never happened. But actually, some of the best memories I have aren't even on social media, and that says a lot. I think before I used to feel like everything had to be on there. What I eat, what I do, like practically when I poop needs to be on here. But like it really doesn't need to be that way. It can totally be done where you have boundaries, where so there were times actually where I used to take all of my content for stories throughout the day, and then I would sit down at one time and just upload them all in one go. And then I don't have to worry about posting things on to stories and things like that. So yeah, there's definitely boundaries that I put into place to be able to have my personal life as well as my like social media life. How long does it take to get monetized? So I'm guessing this is Instagram and YouTube. I think with YouTube you have to have a certain number of minutes watched to be able to monetize your channel. When I started, I think you had to have like 10,000 subscribers. Like I started a long time ago, so I think the rules have changed. With Instagram, you can have any kind of following. You have brands contacting you and saying, oh, we'd love to do a partnership with you, or anything like that. So yeah, I don't think there's like a specific number you need to be on. But yeah, you just want to obviously be careful and only work with the brands that you genuinely love. That's just one thing that I would put out there. Do you believe that there is really room for us Asians in the UK industry, or is that a token thing? I genuinely think there is enough room and love and space for everyone out there, and even if it is like within the UK Asian industry, which is like the part of it, the industry that I'm involved in, there's definitely space for everyone, because everyone has a unique story, everyone has a unique voice online, and the brands who do it as a token thing, you can usually tell. But when it comes from the heart, and when you're talking to these brands, and if the brands even tell you, like, look, we're not wanting to work with you just because of a token thing, like, we want to work with you because we love you and we love what you stand for, and it's just the perfect brand fit because you love us, we love you, like, that I so much more appreciate. This similar thing happened to me last year where a brand actually said to me, like, just want you to know, like, we're not working with you because you are a brown or Asian creator, we're working with you because we love you. And that made me feel so much more at ease, because they were so honest in telling me that. And the brands who are doing it as just like a token thing to tick things off, you can usually tell when they've done that, or you can usually tell when they haven't done that, which I don't know which one's worse, because there are so many times I see brands working with people and I'm like, where's the diversity? Where is it? But I mean, I say that in my head, and then it's done, and it's out there, and it's done after that. So I try not to let things play too much in my mind. There are obviously times where things like that does happen, but overall, I try not to let it bother me. Why social media is more popular nowadays, even though it's fake? So I've got to hand it to you. Yeah, a lot of social media is fake. A lot of content is taken purely for Instagram. I've got to put my hands up. I've done it loads of times. I've like done things for the gram. But a lot of it is still relatable, and a lot of it is still very real and honest and raw. There's always two sides to things. There's always like that aspect of like making sure you're putting enough content out there for your followers to feel like they know what's going on, they can keep up to date with you. And there's also that balance of being as real and honest with everyone as possible. But it's really popular these days because brands nowadays will have like a marketing budget, and there's generally a budget or like time or energy that is spent purely on working with people on the internet, whether that's just sending products out to people, or whether that's doing like paid partnerships, or whether that's doing a photo shoot with them, or whether that's actually getting them on board to like collaborate with them with the brand. It's just so much more like normal for a brand to have like a part of their business which is all to do with social media, and I think that's why it's so popular. Did you ever feel like there was a lack of brown representation in the beauty industry before? So I grew up when like Aishwarya Rai was like the spokesperson for like L'Oreal. So I've always kind of had like a person there who has been in like Bollywood or something like that, who is representing our peeps. But when it came to social media, like I remember when I would watch YouTube videos to try and get inspiration for like doing my makeup at like a wedding, and I felt like that there wasn't really that kind of Asian vibe on the internet. And then I just thought, you know what, I'll just post whatever I'm going to be wearing to so-and-so's wedding or such and such event. And I think that's where I really was able to get my content out there, because there wasn't anyone else doing it. And now there's so many amazing creators who are doing such amazing jobs. So yeah, when I started, there definitely wasn't enough, I would just say, people of colour in general on YouTube and Instagram. But things have changed now, which is amazing. But yeah, when I started, I suppose there wasn't that much, but so grateful for where we are now. Is everyone generally quite friendly? Oh, this is an interesting question, because sometimes people come across so confident on camera, because let's face it, right now, I am in a room all by myself and I've got Tupac laying sunbathing on the floor, and I can be just myself and be comfortable and talk to a camera, whereas there will be a really, really high number of people who you may meet at an event or may meet in real life, and they're not as confident maybe as they seem online. That's because they might be actually quite shy when it comes to being in a room or being somewhere with loads of people. But yeah, generally everyone that I've met has been really, really friendly. There hasn't been anyone in particular that I've had like a conversation with. There have definitely been people that I've been in a room with and I just kind of feel like, okay, that vibe, that aura, that energy that I'm getting from that region, I'm just not going to entertain that and I'm not going to go that way. I'm just going to do my own thing. So yeah, I've always kind of done that from the beginning. But overall, everyone is really friendly because it's kind of like your work colleagues, like you're all doing like the same or similar thing. So yeah, generally everyone is very, very friendly. Are influencers authentic or honest with us when they review sponsored products? So my personal view on this is if there's a product, let's say for example, this lip balm, which is a Charlotte Tilbury lip balm, which I love. If I would recommend this product to my family and friends, like my closest family and friends, then I will talk about it online, whether that's in sponsored content or whether that's in organic, like non-sponsored content. I am only going to talk about things that I genuinely like this being one of them. I think one thing that you have to try and understand is like concealer wise, or like any product really, like there are so many times that we're like sent stuff, we're only going to pick the thing that we really, really love. If anything, it makes us more picky with the things that we like, especially for me. I can't obviously speak for everyone, but yeah, there are definitely times where I've gone out and bought something because someone else has spoken about it and I've loved it, and there are definitely times where I've not liked it, but you've just got to remember, like, I was having this conversation with someone yesterday and I was saying how you can go to that one restaurant that everyone talks about and that everyone says is amazing and that everyone says that one dish like you have to have, and then you go and have it and you're like, I didn't like it. So then you're always going to have that. But yeah, I'd like to think that everyone's as honest as they can be when it comes to reviewing products, whether that's sponsored or not. Do influencers really use products they promote as ads in their everyday lives? 100%. Like, whenever I do my makeup, I mean, probably you've seen it in my videos that I literally use like some of the same products again and again and again. And that's because I use them all the time. And like, for example, I did a campaign with Maybelline Eraser Eye a couple of years ago. And they had this huge campaign come up. And because I use it all the time anyways, they basically got in touch with me and they were like, oh, we want you to be involved in this like big Eraser Eye campaign because we know you love the product. So it's like a two-way street. If you love something enough, the brands will hopefully see that and they'll want to work with you. So yeah, I 100% use the products in my like everyday, like off the internet life as well. But that goes down to my like ethos of if I would recommend it to my closest family and friends, then I'll talk about it online. So it's like all linked. Is there plenty of work available in the beauty industry as influencers, or is it competition? There's definitely loads of work to go around for everyone. I feel like nowadays brands do this thing where they work with different tiered influencers or like content creators. So they'll do like certain type of activity with maybe the larger content creators and like a couple of weeks later do something similar with like smaller content creators. And brands are always looking for different people to work with and different people who love their products. So there's definitely enough work to go around for the whole industry. How do all beauty influencers connect with each other? What's it like being a part of that community? So I think the community is lovely because everyone is doing it because they love doing it, and I think that's amazing. Generally you can speak to them either on DM or WhatsApp or like see them at actual like real life events. Obviously that's been quite hard over the last year or so, but yeah, you can connect with them in so many different ways. We've had a few of our friends come over, like we had Cece and Buzzy come over actually for dinner just before the lockdown happened. So yeah, you can actually see them like in real life, like not work related as well. And I always personally think that's such a nice way to see a lot of like industry friends, because you get to see them in like a non-work environment and there's no stress of having to take pictures and all of that. But yeah, it's really, really lovely because everyone has the same like love for what you have love for. So yeah, it's actually really, really lovely to be a part of this community. What's the future of this industry on social media? So I think people forget that social media is so new. You think about TV, been here for years, magazines, been here for years, newspapers, radios, all been here for so many years. Instagram, YouTube, all of that has been here for what, like 10 years maybe? So it's so new, and I feel like there's so much more that social media can grow. But I definitely think that going forward, brands are going to have to pick people that they work with very, very carefully. And I'm talking in the sense of picking people they work with who are not only there for make, but also who they are as a person. Like, are they a nice person? What do they believe in? What are they really passionate about? I feel like those kind of things and what they love within the makeup world, I think they're going to come together, and brands are going to have more meaningful relationships with people who create content, whether that's for them or with them, whatever, whichever way it will be. But I genuinely think that there's going to be like a deeper connection between brands and content creators. How do you actually make money from it? Very curious about the business model. So on Instagram, you can make money via paid promotions. So that's basically like creating content for them, whether that's a video, a reel, a photo, some stories, any of those kind of things. And on YouTube, it's either a fully sponsored video or an inclusion within a YouTube video. And yeah, it's pretty easy. They have budget set aside to be able to work with content creators in that way. But yeah, that is basically how it works. And it's all done through whether or not you can make that work, both of you as two parties. I have a manager who does all of my like contracts and things like that. So I have a helping hand in that sense. But yeah, you can have a manager who's like the middle person, or an agent that's the middle person that does all those deals for you and does all the contracts and does all of that side of things. And then you can concentrate on like creating the content. And that is the end of this Q&A portion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions or comments or anything like that, please leave them below. Let me know what you want me to cover in the next beauty and positivity video. But yeah, I think that's everything from me from now. I feel like my camera's heating up, so I'm gonna get going. But please don't forget to like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, and please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I would love it so much if you could join me over there. But that's everything from me for now. I'm sending all of the love and light and joy and gratitude from my heart to yours, and I'll hopefully see you guys all in my next video. Bye!